Hello everybody on YouTube. It has been months since I've made a video, but with election time coming up, I really wanted to make this one. I'm gonna be wearing my hat because it's pretty cold in here today, and I don't want to pay $5 million to heat the house if I don't need to. Instead of like free-forming and just talking like I usually do, I might a little bit, but I wrote this email to my friends and family, and I'm just going to read that because that kind of explains why I support Ron Paul. There are some links in here as well, and so I'll be providing those links in the description. So let me just start. Ron Paul quote from 2002. During the next decade, the American people will become poorer and less free, while they become more dependent on the government for economic security, which we've seen happen. Ron Paul in 2007. This country is in a recession for a lot of people. Michigan knows about it. Poor people know about it. None of the middle class knows about it yet. Wall Street doesn't know about it. Washington, D.C. doesn't know about it. But it's because of the monetary system and the excessive spending. Hello, friends, family, and YouTube viewers. With an election year approaching, I wanted to reach out and take the time to explain to you why I believe that Ron Paul is a good candidate. I will include some videos that I feel highlight his standpoints and explain his positions. I know that this seems like a lot, but it is very important to me that you at least read it over. Well, listen to it. This election will affect all of us, old, young, gay, straight, poor, middle class, and I want us to have the most equal and safe country that we can. Since our media is controlled by those who are in favor of the corporate-run government, Paul has not truly been getting the chance he deserves to promote himself. In the last debate I watched, he literally got to speak for about 80 seconds of a 2-hour-long debate. And if you watch his debates, you'll always notice that he's shoved to the side. He's not front and center like Romney or Gingrich. He's always shoved to the side. I've watched the debates, followed the campaign, and researched the candidates, and to be honest, I will not be staying in this country very long if anyone other than Ron Paul is elected. I will not take the time to call out the major moral flaws in the other Republican candidates, as I am hoping that you can just figure those out for yourself. There are lots and lots of negative things surrounding all other candidates. Kane has already withdrawn due to his. For years we have allowed the United States government to run in a way that looks out for its assets and wealthiest people instead of our individual citizens. Ron Paul is against all of this. In fact, he has never taken the typical senatorial paycheck, because that is not what the average person makes in America. He vows that he will not take the extra compensation as president either. Since he has not changed his ideals for over 30 years, which he hasn't, unlike most other candidates right now, I believe his word. Ron Paul's foreign policy is referred to as non-interventionism. Now this is where a lot of people have a problem with him. This means that he wants to protect and stabilize our country instead of trying to fix other countries while we are still struggling and have many people suffering here. If Paul is elected, he will immediately pull troops from the 700 bases across the country and bring them home. In fact, out of all of the candidates, Ron Paul earned more donations from the troops than all of the other candidates combined. Aren't they the people that we should be listening to? In doing this, we will be able to stabilize and secure our borders. Imagine how safe we'd be with 700 plus bases worth of soldiers on our borders, and non-violently discuss solutions with other countries. In many cases, just leaving will be enough for the countries to withdraw attack. After all, I don't know a single person who reacts well to being attacked and told how they behaved. I look at it this way. If you have a problem with somebody, you can solve it in one of two ways. The first way is you can go up to them and you can say, I have a problem with what you're doing. Here's why I have a problem with what you're doing. Here's some facts and statistics to show you why I think a different approach would work. The second way to deal with it is, go up, punch them in the face, and say, you're going to do exactly what I tell you to do. Now, how would you respond to both of those actions? That's kind of what it's like in our war right now. We're going in, punching people in the face, telling them what they need to do, instead of trying to discuss it with them. Paul discusses something very important in this war, and I suggest everybody research this because it was a new term to me, but it's really something important, called blowback. This is a CIA term that refers to backlash that comes from the result of government action. The problem is, the citizens are not often aware of what action caused this blowback, so a major attack seems so out of the blue to us. However, what seems strange to us is anticipated by the government because they know what actions they initially took. This term can be researched in depth through the official CIA website, many other websites, and can give you a better idea of why we may have brought things like 9/11 upon ourselves. As in, 9/11 likely happened as a result of a poor military action made by America that civilians were unaware of. So, the military probably went in and did something to one of these countries that civilians did not know about, which made them backlash against us. So to us, we're going, hey, we're innocent here, what's going on? But to the military, they're going, oh, yep, they're angry because of this, this, this. I have also discussed this with my boss, who is a current Army recruiter and has been deployed multiple times. He agrees that we are not innocent in this war, and none of these confrontations are done for any sort of freedom like they claim. If Paul pulls the troops, this would save our country billions of dollars that could go back into our economy and help those who are struggling here, which, as we've seen, are many, many people, and numbers are increasing every day of people that are struggling and having a hard time. Paul also believes in equal rights for all Americans. In a direct quote, I couldn't find it because Wikipedia was blocked that day because of the, I think, SOPA and PIPA laws, but Paul states that he supports all consenting relationships between adults and that it should be called whatever we so desire. So, in his mind, as long as we're consenting adults, we should be able to be in whatever kind of relationship we want to be. He would push for gay marriage to be elected on a state-by-state level, and the federal government would do nothing more than grant marriage certificates and divorces. I believe that this is a fair way to deal with something that myself and other homosexuals have been dealing with for a very long time. I don't feel like these are special rights, and I feel like this gives us the opportunity to get equal rights. I think that pushing for gay marriage as a huge issue over other issues is kind of fighting for special, more above and beyond rights, but I think that he's right in the fact that, let's let state by states decide, and slowly over time I truly believe that more states, if not all, would be legalizing this. Another great ideal that Paul has is the fact that he wants to stop wasting money on the war on drugs. Every year, our country spends billions to trillions of dollars arresting underground drug trafficking operations, arresting violent drug dealers, arresting homeless addicts, etc. Though we have spent this massive amount of money, our crime and drug rates are not going down. This is because you cannot stop something from being done simply by making it illegal. I mean, look at what alcohol prohibition did. It didn't stop alcohol from being made, it made it more dangerous, it made it more violent. This includes gun control and prostitution as well. It is ignorant to believe that we can make a society in which there is zero drug usage, prostitution, or weapon ownership. That's an unreal world. As much as I would love to strive for that, there's always going to be people who are going to engage in these activities. If the government is able to legalize and tax all of these things, gun control, prostitution, drugs, we would be helping our country in numerous ways. This can be seen currently in other countries in which marijuana and prostitution are legalized, such as Amsterdam. I use this as an example because most people are aware that, weed is legal in Amsterdam. All of these countries have lower crime rates. Who's going to kill for something on the black market when it is legally available? And, surprisingly, less drug usage overall, especially among young users. This is because a lot of times the idea of being, illegal and scandalous is appealing to kids, and this makes them want to use more. And so when it's illegal, they know that they can try it as an adult anyways. And we have lots of underage kids that drink, but I don't see anyone trying to outlaw liquor because of it. Where was I? Okay. Being able to tax and control these things would make our country much, much safer than trying to completely abolish it, which is so very unrealistic. Because what we're doing is pushing it underground more and more and more, and the more it's underground and the less that we try to acknowledge that it exists, the more dangerous it becomes. Think of the money we would save in doing this. We wouldn't have to waste tax money on underground drug operations because they wouldn't be happening. Do you see any violent underground alcohol or tobacco sales happening? No, because we have learned to control it to the best of our ability. Not only that, but Paul is in full support of legal marijuana. If you have not done the research yourself, I highly recommend doing so. Marijuana has gotten an extremely negative stigma surrounding it, and most, if not all, of the facts that are spread are politically biased lies. The studies that I find most riveting are the ones in which marijuana was able to help 100% of people with fibromyalgia and lupus. It relieved their pain 100%. Do you know of any other drug that works 100% effectively with so few side effects? I also have these links that I'll be providing again. Can you overdose from marijuana? The answer is no, nobody ever has. What can hemp be used for? Numerous things: oil, clothing, gasoline, food. Will legalizing marijuana make more kids do drugs? Another study, no, makes them do them less. Is marijuana a gateway drug? Another link, no, no study has ever shown that it is. Is marijuana addictive? Another study. No, no physical addictions, slight psychological addictions, but no physical addictions. Does marijuana have medicinal qualities? And then I link 4 different studies that I'll link for you guys that show that yes, it helps with numerous things. Can marijuana decrease the size of a cancerous tumor? This one I find very interesting. This is a study in which I believe it was a lung cancer. Marijuana reduced the size of it. It cut it in half. THC cells. Other studies that I find interesting are those in which pregnant mothers smoked for all 9 months with 0 birth defects. In fact, in many ways, the exposed children came out healthier than the others. This was done in Jamaica. I think it was 100 pregnant mothers. Half used during pregnancy, half did not. When the babies came out, they called them neonates. All of the neonates came out exactly the same. 3 months later, they did studies, and the neonates that were exposed scored higher on many things. They were more alert, they were less irritable. I'll link this study. You gotta read it because it's amazing. If you start to realize how effective and safe this drug is, you will understand why the people who make money off of chemically made drugs do not want it legal. Look at how alcohol and tobacco kills and affects people, yet the government is fine with that. No single person has ever died from marijuana overdose, yet people still look at it with disgust as they open a beer. Out of every chemical-ridden medication I have received for my chronic pain, I have diseases called endometriosis and interstitial cystitis. Nothing helps me more than marijuana. Not Vicodin, which makes me very sick, not Percocet, which gave me a rash all over my body, and not any other $400 medication that they tried to give me that they claimed would cure me. Instead of writing more on here, I will link you to a video in which I speak of the political problems surrounding the legalization of a drug that is much safer than most over-the-counter medications. And I'll link that video too. It's my legalized marijuana video. Instead of voicing my own opinion anymore, I'll now link you to the videos of Paul himself. The one that I find most intriguing is the fact that he was able to accurately predict this Great Recession years before it happened. You will see the clip. And then I have a few different links that I'll provide you guys with again. It really is incredible. He's talking about this recession, and he knows it's going to happen and why it's going to happen, and nobody else was ever talking about it, and now here we are in it, and he was dead accurate. If you've taken the time to research this, I hope you can see what a clear choice Ron Paul would be for all of us. If you agree, please forward this along to those of legal voting age. Remember, even if he is not elected as the official candidate, I doubt our votes mean much, even if he was in the top, because The wealthiest people are always in control. We can always write him in. So if he's not elected, write him in. As Dr. Paul says, for liberty, Amanda. And those are pretty much my thoughts on it. I hope that you take the time yourself to research and look at what he stands for and what he represents, as opposed to Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich, who both make my stomach churn with thinking about them being president. So, thanks for your time, guys. Do your own research, make your own decisions. Don't be biased by the media. Talk to you later.